I got started in this industry after kind of growing up in the photo studio. My dad was a photographer at Hallmark Cards, and so I was raised in a photo studio. He would take us to the Hallmark Cards photo studios while he was babysitting us on the weekends, and we would adjust lights and play with fabrics and help models adjust their clothes and things like that. So that got us really used to working with talent or working with models. When I got into the industry, it was kind of like it was actually a suggestion from my dad. My dad was a photographer at Hallmark Cards, and he said, Nick, when you get old, you ought to think about starting an agency that represents ethnic talent because they have a really hard time finding that. Now that was 30 years ago when he told me that. And of course, a lot of agencies have definitely picked up on getting more diverse talent because more advertising agencies, as they produce commercials, are asking for more diverse representation in their commercials. So you need more diverse models. But the way I started was my girlfriend at the time had a coworker who worked part-time at a casting agency, and they needed a Hispanic guy with a light beard. And she told me about it, and so I went for the audition and got the job because I did some theater when I was in high school and some forensics acting when I was in high school, so it was pretty easy for me to act. I'm pretty out there anyway. And so then I took that money that I made from that first job and I started my agency. I've been in the talent industry representing talent for about 20 years now, over 2 decades. I think the biggest surprise I've learned from this industry is that anybody could do this. Anybody with any kind of look can do this. As an agent, I watch commercials constantly, and I'm looking at all the different diverse looks that are needed for television commercials, print ads, voiceover spots, things like that. And I really do see a big variety of talent. Of course, there is a commercial look that, people need to have, but I mean, black, white, red, green, whatever. If you've got a commercial look that appeals to a broad spectrum of people, then almost anybody that has that kind of commercial look can do it. That's a great question. A commercial look is basically a look that represents a large body of people. So for example, let's say Pepsi, they want to do a commercial, they need an African-American guy. There's a variety of different African-American looks for that type of role, but they're going to want to look for a guy that has the biggest mass appeal that when African-American males see that commercial, they relate to that guy. Sometimes it may be dreads, sometimes it may be just a nice clean haircut, a fro, whatever the case is. But the casting or the client has an idea of what the look is. The client has a look that they're looking for. The casting director helps working with the talent agent on finding those people that fit that look, but ultimately the client is the one that makes a decision on who gets hired. Articulation and intonation are very important when it comes to this type of work. In order to do commercials, you just can't read things in the same tone. You've got to have intonation. Right here, I'm just talking in a one tone, but you've got to use intonation as you talk about things because it shows your excitement about things, and also when you're being more serious or you're having a more sincere moment. Your voice is part of the acting tool. And so we're looking for people that have good intonation, articulation, because you're reading scripts, and so clients want you to be able to read those words that have been written in the script carefully, and so that people can hear them clearly. And so you want to have good articulation, but you also want to have good energy. This type of energy is not going to get you a job. You got to have good energy on camera. So that's also something that we're looking for. Clients, they hire people with good energy faster than they hire people who can read the scripts perfectly. If you can read the script perfectly, but you don't have good energy, you won't get hired. But if you've got good energy and you mess up on the script, they'll hire you first because you've got good energy. And that's what's needed in this type of advertising and modeling industry. When it comes to getting paid, these jobs are wide and varied in terms of their payment. Some jobs are smaller jobs. They might pay $100, $200 for some roles. We just had some people doing some nonprofit work where they're doing video and they're paying $200 for an hour of work. Other times you might get paid a lot more. For example, when we work with big commercial clients, like big national clients, I've had a model get paid $20,000 for a single day of work just to do photography print work. I've had other models who do a commercial which started out at paying $2,500 for the day, end up making $25,000 because they ended up extending the media buy. So the range of rate can be really vast and different. However, a lot of jobs generally start at around $100 an hour or more. To get in this type of work, you don't need a lot of experience. In fact, you don't need any experience. I find people all on the street all the time. What you really need to have is a personality. You got to have energy. You got to have kind of like they say the joie de vivre. They've got to have life. There's a lot of people who are just like very flat and they have no intonation. They've just, like people who are dead inside already. You just have to have the energy to do this type of roles because clients want people who have energy. What you're doing when it comes to these type of roles is you are being the person who has the product to sell the product to the person on the other side of the screen. If you don't have the energy to project, hey, you should buy this product while you're being recorded, the person on the other side of the screen is going to be like, okay, that's boring. And so you've got to have a lot of energy. You can see what that looks like by really just watching a lot of TV commercials. To get started in this industry these days, you really just need your iPhone. Clients are looking for images all the time and they simply just say, hey, just have them send us a selfie using their phone. And so if I can get that done so that clients can see what you look like today, not a photoshopped, photograph where you've been work with a photographer and things like that. Clients just want to see what you look like today so that you can get the job and they can see what you look like. To be with an agency, you really want to work with an agency that works with you in a particular area. So our agency works primarily in the commercial industry. We work with advertising agencies. Those advertising agencies are working with clients like Apple, Fabulosa, T-Mobile, Price Chopper, grocery stores, Hy-Vee, things like that. And so they're producing commercials, they're producing advertising ads, they're producing images that you see in magazines where, you're modeling a product. And so they're looking for people that, look like mothers, grandfathers, things like that, children, the entire family. But really in order to get started, you really just need to get basic headshots done. And when you come to work with us, that's one of the first things we do is we get basic headshots done in a nice clean backdrop with good light. The way to present yourself when it comes to being represented or so that clients can see what you look like is you really just want to be yourself. You want to wear your makeup and hair the way you normally make up. You don't want to wear a lot of mascara. You don't want to wear a lot of eyeshadow. Fake eyelashes are absolutely out and no colored contacts either. You'll never find any of those in television commercials. They want you looking like a normal, everyday person without a whole bunch of makeup. Because, let's say you're doing a commercial for Ford and you guys are driving, into the city in a brand new SUV. Those commercials where you have like all the girls going out for a girls' night out. You guys might get dressed up for something like that, but before you get there, you've got to let clients see what you look like. So, nice, clean clothes, pressed, clean backdrop, smiling headshot, just like that. And that's what you do. Also, when you reach out to an agent or an agency, use complete sentences. Say, hi, my name is this. Give us your mobile number so we can reach you, your email address. Give us your stats like your height, your blouse size, shirt size, waist size, pant size, shoe size, height, date of birth, age, all the basic things you would need to get a modeling job. You got to share that information up front. That's really good just to help you get seen by an agency. When it comes to age, you do not have to be the exact age that they're looking for. So for example, right now we're casting for a skincare company. They want someone that's 25 to 35. If you're 40 and you look like you fit within that range, you should totally go for that. If you're 20 and you look like you're 25 or 30, you should go for it. I've got a model right now. She's 42, African-American woman, beautiful. But without makeup on, she could pass for 18. And so that's just the thing is I'm like, her window of job opportunities, anything from 17 to 40. That's about it. And so she can fit in that range. So when it comes to talent and models applying for jobs, a lot of people get really caught up on the numbers. Oh, I'm 36 and they wanted someone that's 35. Okay. If you look like the age range, if you feel like it, then you should go for it. And finally, I'd also say don't be super hard on yourself. A lot of people are really hard on themselves and they say they don't look that age. People are horrible judges of themselves. Sometimes people come in with just very minimal makeup and they look gorgeous, they look great, but they're like, oh, I look tired. I'm like, this and that. I'm like, yeah, but the way the world sees you is very different from the way you see yourself. And so as an agent, my job is to see you the way the world sees you, to see if you would fit into roles that clients would hire you for, and then promote you into those roles by sharing your information to the casting director. When it comes to the talent agency industry, we're always looking for new talent, always looking for new faces, new commercial looking faces and voices that can fit these jobs, because there's always all kinds of jobs. Recently we had a job where they were looking for Latina bilingual twins in their 20s. So you got to have a big bank of talent that can fit these roles. Sometimes they need a mom and a daughter. Sometimes they need a dad and a grandfather, having a moment on film for Hallmark cards, for a Father's Day shoot, something like that. You just never know. But if we don't know what you look like, if we don't have a photo of you, we can't get you a job. So it's open to anybody and everybody, all ages, from babies all the way to grandparents. And the thing about this is that this industry, like, you can be Hander, he's a young Hispanic guy, he's around 24. I was telling Hander the other day, I was like, Hander, you could do this job, this business, into your 60s and 70s. They're gonna always need, good looking Hispanic, Latin men, women, everything. A lot of families come in with just children and they say, I want to get my children into modeling. But I tell them that the reality is that as soon as I have a child image and I show that to clients like Hallmark cards, the first question they're going to ask is, okay, what does the mom and dad look like? Do they have any brothers or sisters? Do they have a grandma and grandpa? Their clients are literally looking for entire families. There was a grocery chain not too long ago that was paying $20,000 for a whole family, including grandparents, two sets of parents, kids, to be in a grocery store commercial. And so they're always looking for things. So it's better to have the family try out for it than just a singular child or singular person, because, if I see you, I'm going to like, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a mom, dad? Do you have any brothers or sisters that have a commercial look like you do? Because clients will ask me, like, who else do you have that looks like that? If you watch television commercials and you see all of the different types of people that you see, the different looks, all of those people are paid models and actors, and they're paid thousands of dollars to simply say a line or two, to do a non-speaking role even. So if you're even remotely interested in this, let us know by sending us a direct message or sending us an email, and you can find our information at seguratalentagency.com. And you can submit your headshots to us and just all the information I said before, like your height, shirt size, pant size, shoe size, dress size, all your different sizes, age and date of birth, so that we get a good picture of what you look like. Also, it's also a really good idea just to submit an audition video as well, reading a script, so that we know how you sound, how you articulate, what kind of energy level you have. And that'll help you get into the agency a lot faster.